don't trust EU. Emmanuel Macron made a stark admission about the EU's incompetence. Emmanuel Macron made a stark admission about the EU's incompetence, branding it too slow, too weak, too ineffective, an unearthed account shows. The French president has frequently stressed the importance of the EU and the benefits of being a member of the bloc. Mr. Macron is often credited with helping steer the EU's agenda, alongside German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Since the UK left the EU last year, the French president has also hit out at Britain's newfound sovereignty and control in relation to its COVID-19 vaccine rollout. However, recently resurfaced comments suggest that, while proclaiming the strength of the EU, he also harbored doubts. In 2017, several months into his premiership, Mr. Macron spoke to students at the Sorbonne University in Paris. He said, "As I have done at every point in front of the French people, I would today like to say with resolute conviction, the Europe of today is too weak, too slow, too inefficient. But Europe alone can enable us to take action in the world, in the face of the big contemporary challenges." Mr. Macron used the occasion to highlight the success of nationalist parties in Europe, which he said was a response to globalization. His remarks came just days after the Alternative for Germany, AfD, party was elected to the country's parliament. The party's success marked the first time in the history of modern Germany that voters had elected a far-right party. Mr. Macron said, "For too long we were sure in our belief that the past would not come back, we thought that the lessons had been learned. Our weakness, blindness or lack of awareness have created the conditions for their victory. Because we have forgotten that we must stay behind this ambition. Because we have forgotten to defend Europe." He also highlighted Brexit and the election of US President Donald Trump as examples of isolationism gaining ground. The French president also spoke about the 73 seats in the European Parliament freed up by Britain's withdrawal from the EU. He said that filling the seats should be Europe's response to Brexit. Mr. Macron was however deliberately vague about Brexit during his speech, saying that he had carefully chosen his words. He added, "In the same way, in a few years' time the UK will be able to find its place, if it wishes, in this EU refocused on uncompromising values and an effective market. This is why you haven't heard me talking about Brexit this afternoon." During the pandemic, Mr. Macron has hit out at Britain in the wake of its successful COVID-19 vaccination campaign. The EU's rollout of jabs initially lagged far behind that of the UK due to supply issues at production plants in Europe. The bloc accused British-Swedish drug giant AstraZeneca of not meeting its delivery targets for its vaccine in the EU. In response to the shortfall, Mr. Macron was among those in the bloc to back export control mechanisms by the European Commission. The measures are designed to stop vaccines leaving the EU in a bid to strengthen its own supply chain. Mr. Macron hit out at the UK, saying it did not export many doses, actually, none. In January, the French president also took aim at the efficacy of the AstraZeneca vaccine itself. Despite being cleared for use by the European Medicines Agency, he said the jab was quasi-ineffective for people over 65. Even the most enthusiastic supporters of the European Union have to accept that its handling of the vaccination program has been nothing short of a disaster. Brussels was too slow to order the vaccines, failed to secure sufficient quantities and then struggled to distribute the supplies. European leaders then undermined the take-up of the jab by casting unfounded doubts about the safety of the AstraZeneca vaccine. EU leaders will today meet to try to rectify this catalogue of errors and misjudgments. The proposed solution is to limit exports to countries such as the UK that have made good progress with their vaccination programme. It is unacceptable that people in Britain should be victims of the EU's incompetence. Thankfully, there are signs that both sides are seeking to end the standoff. Brussels should drop its threat, but Boris Johnson should recognise it is not in the UK's interest for the EU vaccine misery to continue. We need our closest neighbour to get on top of the virus to prevent more deaths, contain variants and limit economic disruption. Contain variant